Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and before you actually watch this video, I just want to say that this is a re-upload of a video I posted 2 years ago. Now, why am I re-uploading it? Basically, I got a copyright strike, and I was appealing it, but long story short, I felt like I was gonna lose, and felt that for me it'd just be easier if I just take down the video and then re-upload it without the copyrighted material. I've done two videos already explaining this. So the one I most recently did um is my previous video. So here, the previous video should be here where I better explains my situation. So yeah, so basically you're obviously gonna notice some changes. I stutter a bit more. I have longer pauses, and the most notable change, in my opinion, is the fact that in the previous video, all these posters, all these beautiful fucking posters, are not there. So yeah, again, this is a re-upload of a previous video. It's called Robocop 2014 versus Robocop 1987. I believe that's the year the original one came out, which is the better movie. So yeah, that's basically the video we're about to watch. Again, it's about wow, that came out wrong. I originally released it 2 years ago. So there are gonna be some changes. The ending, my sign out is different. It's vastly different than from what I use now. And yeah, hopefully you guys still enjoy the video. My thoughts more or less are the same, give or take. They are the same, more or less. So my opinions there haven't changed that much, maybe slightly, but overall the RoboCop movie I say is better in my opinion. It's still the same one I said in that part of the video. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you now, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And yeah, this is Daniel Mart signing off. Now on to the rest of the video.
Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing a versus matchup type of video. I've done a few of these in the past. I want to start doing these a bit more. I'll get that more towards the end of the video. So yeah, as you can probably tell from the title and the thumbnail, this is going to be the a matchup versus matchup between Robocop 1987 movie versus the Robocop reboot, the 2014 movie. I've done reviews for both movies. Check each of them here. Annotation. 87 over here, 2014 over here, maybe, if I remember. I don't know. Yeah, 2014 here and 87 over here. So yeah. I'm gonna go over 9 different categories for the RoboCop movie with an overall with like the last category and with the 10th category being overall. So yeah, the 9 categories I've chosen are plot, character and character development, writing and dialogue, and how it's delivered, acting, RoboCop's origin, action pacing, how memorable it is, and how rewatchable it is. How many times would you rewatch this in a couple years, basically, and then the last one being overall score. Um, so yeah, basically, gonna start off with the first one, plot. For those who don't know, haven't seen either of the movies, they basically have the same plot. Um, Basically, it's of Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller in the '87 version, and played by I forget who did him in the 2014 version, but basically they happen to get into this one accident, and Omnicorp, which is like the main antagonist or villain, or at least one of the main villains, kind of. It's a company, but the high-ranking officials of the company, are the antagonists. And what they decide is to give Alex Murphy a second chance in life. So they build him this RoboCop suit, and he becomes RoboCop. He defends the law in Detroit, and some things happen. That I'll get to, and I may get to in some of the other categories. So yeah. For this one, I decided to give each of them a point. For this one, plot, because they're basically the same thing. So yeah. Um, so that's 1-1. Okay, character and character development. For the 20, for the I'm gonna start off with the '87 version. The If you guys seen my review for the '87 here. Um, I said I really didn't like how they played, how they used some of the characters, the usage of some of the characters. I thought some of the characters were, mishandled or mistreated. And RoboCop, who was the main protagonist in the movie, I didn't really like how they handled him. They didn't give him much character development. I thought, him, being the main character, and I thought they'd give him a bit more character development so we'd actually feel something for him. That was not the case. So I didn't really feel or care for RoboCop at the end of the movie in the '87 version. Um, the other characters were, they weren't really. I mean, they were memorable to an extent, but they were like whatever, throwaway for the most part. The 2014, they did give character development to Alex Murphy. The actor. I forget who's played by him. I'm just gonna search it up. Um, the actor, I think he did a fantastic job as being RoboCop. The other characters were also, well done. They're also memorable. Sorry. Yeah. Joel Kinnaman is the guy who plays in 2014 version. So in the character development, was better done, more in depth, and I liked it more. So I decided to give the point for character development to RoboCop 2014. So that's 2-1. Um, writing dialogue and how it's delivered. Um, the the writing for the '87 version was decent in my opinion. Um, but the main problem I had is that how some of the lines were delivered. Again, it kind of has to do with character. The main character being RoboCop, and he's just like stiff all the time. I mean, I understand he's a robot, part robot, a cyborg basically, but he's just too stiff in my opinion. The secondary cast, when it came to delivering lines, did a better job than the primary cast, if that makes sense. I mean, everybody else did pretty good, decently in their job, delivering the dialogue. But I thought that Peter Weller, who plays RoboCop in the '87 version, was too stiff, and I didn't like the way he delivered the dialogue. For the 2014 version, I did like. Again, the writing is decent. And you do have the problems again that some of the lines aren't delivered properly, but very few lines. And when that does happen, it's not from Joel Kinnaman, who's RoboCop. It's usually from some of the secondary cast. Um, some of the just secondary cast. Um, like the one who plays his wife, Abby Cornish, and yeah, like Abby Cornish, she had some pretty shaky lines here and there, delivery wise. But she was like maybe the weakest actress in that whole movie. But even after that, she did a pretty decent job in delivering the majority of her lines. It's just a few lines over here and there that seemed kind of odd, but whatever. So writing and delivery, and dialogue overall. I also have to give that one to RoboCop 2014. So that's 3-1. Um, so yeah. Um, acting wise, for the '87 version, the acting I thought was decent at the very least. It was just decent. So, again, the Peter Weller, I didn't think he did a great job as RoboCop. He was too stiff, and again, that's a problem that the main cast member, the person, the actor who's portraying the main character, if he's too stiff, you're not gonna really care for him. And honestly, I think they just mishandled um, Peter Weller, playing RoboCop. Some the other actors and actresses in that movie, they were okay, they were decent, but still a bit of overacting at times, a bit of underacting at times. So yeah. For RoboCop 2014, I thought the acting was way better, more well done. Um, Again, you do have the problem of some overacting for the most part, or not sometimes overacting, sometimes underacting. Um, and that does kind of also happen a bit to Joel Kinnaman. He does underact or overact every here and there, but again, it's not that much. Um, so again, I have to give acting to RoboCop 2014. So that's four, I believe. One, two, three. That's 5-1. Um, no, 4-1. Sorry. Um, yeah. Um, Next up is Robocop's origin. I do have to admit this one was a bit hard to actually decide which one I liked better because they each had problems in my opinion. Um, for this one, for Robocop the '87 version, I liked the build up for his origin story. The build up towards it, but you got a lot of build up towards him becoming Robocop, and once he becomes Robocop, they just like throw it under the bus or whatever. They just mishandle it more towards the end, and it's just very badly done more towards the end. I like the beginning part, but I don't really like the ending part. For 2014, they also had problems. Um, they didn't really have much build up for the origins of RoboCop. It just really seemed like these criminals just were pissed, so they put a bomb. Spoilers. They put a bomb under his car so that it explodes and whatever. And that was really badly done in my opinion. Um, then you have a few scenes with Abby Cornish, and the kid, whatever the kid. And again, that was a bit of over or underacting, whatever, a bit of overacting, a bit of underacting, whatever. So there were some problems, but then after that you do have RoboCop, realizing he is RoboCop and him having to deal with the fact that he is, and you do have a few crazy shots, a few good shots of him, doing whatever he does. Um, so yeah, so this one was actually a pretty hard category. The way I saw it was, do you prefer build up or aftermath? As much as I prefer the build up, with no aftermath, there's nothing. And again, as much as I prefer build up, as much as I prefer aftermath, there's no build up. But the thing that really set aside is that the RoboCop from the 2014 version gave it a bit of a more. It was a bit more surprising, a bit more shocking, just by a little bit, not by that much. And they did do it a bit differently, but again, I prefer the way they did in the 20. In the '87 version and 2014 version. But at the end, I'm gonna have to give the point to RoboCop 2014 just because we get to see how he deals after the fact that he's become RoboCop. Okay, action wise, for the '87 version, I thought that the action was well done. Um, there's a lot more action in it, which a lot more action, which is what I do like. For the 2014, there wasn't as much action, but it was more well done in my opinion. Both of them were well done, but for the '87 version, there were a few things that were sloppy, every here and there, and for the 24, for the '87, it was a bit sloppy, and for the 2014, it was like, it was more well done. So it might at the end also have to remember that some of the action scenes in the '87 version had CGI, and the CGI back then isn't as good as it was right now. So at the end, I decided to give both of them a point for that. So 2 points, '87 RoboCop '87, and 6 points for RoboCop 2014. I don't know if you can see that. Whatever. So yeah. Next up is pacing. Now for RoboCop '87, I thought the pacing was really good. It had a pretty well, the pacing was well done for the most part. Usually slows up, and it does give build up to some of the more major scenes, like some of the action scenes, and and then goes back down. So a build up to have a great scene, and then goes back down, like that. It's pretty consistent for the most part. The RoboCop from 2014 was really inconsistent in my opinion. It was like the movie was about 2 hours long, and the first 45 minutes to an hour, the pacing wasn't that good. Then all of a sudden you switch to a somewhat well done pacing, but the way they switched it was just bad. So at the end I give pacing to the RoboCop of 1987. So that's 3 points for '87, 6 points for 2014. Memorable. How memorable is the movie? Basically, the way I thought of this is if I don't watch neither of these movies in 5 years, which one would I remember more? Um, this is basically an overview of both the movies. Basically, this is what I would remember from the '87: stiff acting, especially from Peter Weller, as RoboCop. Some pretty decent action scenes, good pacing, and did have a pretty interesting concept. 2014 version, it kept the interesting concept. It did get modernized, so I did have to remember that. Just because it's newer doesn't mean it's better. Usually, well, that one depends on the person more or less. Um, it does have better acting, I'm not that I'm gonna say anything about the CGI, but I do have to remember that CGI, as much, even though it is important, I really can't compare it to the '87. So whatever. The action scenes were good, were well done. Maybe a bit more action scenes over here and there. So which one would I find more memorable in my opinion? See, I'd probably remember the 2014 version, and not because it's newer. It's because some of the things in the '87 version are a bit forgettable. Um, Not that I'm saying I'm forgetting much of the movie right now, because I did watch it recently. But I'm pretty sure if you ask me in about 2 months, I may forget at least 50% of the movie. Um, and if you ask me right now, because it's been about 2 months since I've seen the 2014 version, I'd say I forgot at least 25% of the movie. Um, so yeah, I mean that's how I see it. Um, so at the end, how memorable it is, I'm gonna have to give it to the 2014 version. Now rewatchability. This again, if in 5 years I want to rewatch the two movies, which one would I rewatch first or prefer to watch? Basically, it's kind of the same thing as memorable. How memorable it is. Which category. How would I do this? But there is another part I have to add in this and that is that 1987 version was the original version. Was the original version, was the original concept, and again did have a pretty interesting concept. While the 2014 version was more of a reboot, and even though they did evolutionize, I guess you could say, they did step it up a bit, or by a lot, I have to say. You do have to remember it does have its roots back then in the '80s. Even though it was a great movie, all they really did was reboot it for this generation, for us to see how it was, and to make some money for Hollywood. Um, but at the end, as much as uh, even though the 2014 version is memorable, I'd give the point to RoboCop '87 just to see where it started with its roots. Because most times when I watch a rebooted movie, I usually want to see where it started off. Um, so I prefer watching it where it started off, whether where it is now. And that's how I see it. That's what I prefer. So, rewatch. Which one would I rewatch? I'd rewatch the 1987 version. So yeah, overall, going with all 9 categories, I'm just gonna do an overall countdown. Again, plot, I gave each of them a point, so that's 1-1. Character development, 2014, so that's 1-2. Writing, dialogue, and delivery, gave that to the 2014 version, so that's 1-3. Acting wise, I gave that to the 2014 version, so that's 1-4. RoboCop's origin, pretty hard for me to think of which one I preferred, but I eventually did. So that's 2014, so that's 1-5. Action wise, gave them each a point on that, so that's 2-6. Pacing, gave that to the '87 version, so that's 3-6. Memorability, how memorable it is, gave that to 2014, so that's 3-7, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 7. And rewatchability, I gave that to the '87 version, so that's 4-7. Um, so overall, I'd have to say that RoboCop 2014 is the better movie. That is just my opinion. Um, that doesn't mean you have to agree with my opinion. That's just my opinion. So, at the end, um, I prefer RoboCop 2014. So yeah. that's basically it for this video. Comment down below on your thoughts on both Robocop movies. Which one did you prefer? Do you prefer the '87 version or the 2014 version? And state, for whatever reasons why you prefer one over the other. Comment down below. I'm also thinking of doing versus matchups more. Not necessarily movies, maybe between comic book characters or whatever, maybe a band. Um, or celebrity or whatever the case may be. Just put it down in the comments below if you want to see more on those. I mean, it is maybe it is one of those things I may do every once in a while. If you guys just don't like it or for whatever reason, it may be one of those things I do once every 2 or 3 months. But if you guys do like these videos, I may do them like once every month or something like that, whatever the case may be. So yeah, do comment down below on that. I do want to know your feedback on that because I do appreciate my subscribers. I do want to know how I could better my channel. So put that down below. Also, which of the two Robocops you prefer, the '87 or the 2014? I prefer the 2014 overall. I mean, yeah. Again, there's gonna be annotations here for each of the two reviews. '87 over here, 2014 over here. So yeah, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, comic book reviews. I may, depending on your feedback, do more versus matchups. So let's see where that goes. Besides that, also do trailer reviews, a few action figure reviews. So also stay tuned for those. Besides that, comment down below on your thoughts on this versus matchup. Again, which one do you prefer more, and do you want to see more versus matchups on the channel? Again, just comment down below. Besides that, like this video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.